Hi, folks. I'm Jamie Hiles.
I'm Lydia Judy.
I'm Derek.
This is Scream Bloody Movies, the podcast where we review a horror movie each week, go over the horror news, and I don't think I'll ever recover from that. That was too much for me. And then he sips on his drink.
It's water.
I got my Dunkin's water.
It was a coffee,
How you guys
but
doing?
Terrible.
No, that's not
Terrible.
No, I'm all right. I'm trying, guys. I'm trying my best.
I
That's all
know
you
the
can
feeling.
Right?
I know the feeling. We all get that. We all go a little mad sometimes.
Oh yeah, exactly.
That's not the movie
where I'm
we're
at.
doing.
That's
That's
where I'm at.
right here. I've had it up to here with this place. That's what I say. Guys, we've got a lot to talk about on tonight's movie. We are doing Tobe Hooper's 1986 sequel, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Dose, Electric Boogaloo. But before we get into that, let's hit up the horror news. And guys, I have kind of a shitload of horror news. So let's start with this one for you, Derek. I got a piece of horror news that's specifically for your ass.
Uh-oh.
My ass.
Yeah, for your ass. It's Preparation H. All right, can you guys see this?
Yep.
We've got the first.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
That's
Mad Rabbit.
from Winnie the Pooh, Blood 92. Yeah.
Oh no. That's pretty scary, actually.
Lydia says, "Oh no."
I hate to admit it.
It's the budget is bigger. We got a bigger budget, and apparently, like that's. He says this time we have people doing prosthetics that have worked on Voldemort in Star Wars and stuff like that, and they're redesigning the creatures, and so basically. He's like, that's why Pooh looks a little bit more scary. Well, because anything would look a little bit more scary than the awful makeup that was in the first one.
Oh, man.
It's less of a makeup and more of... Yeah, it was more of a mask.
Yeah, and like a weird one, right? He's like constantly like... Dude, the scene where he's eating the honey. What do you guys...
I wonder if it's better... Yeah, I wonder if it's better... like when it's bad, that if they like
Probably
make it too good, if it won't be as good.
Probably will be. Yeah, I mean, I don't think people are like heavily invested into the story. We got to see what happens to Christopher Robin, guys. Like, I don't think that's. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Speaking of low budget horror movies, Terrifier 2 or Terrifier 3, I'm sorry, has a release date of October 25th, 2024, and it is a Christmas movie.
Ooh.
Yes.
I could see that working.
Are gonna have to... I've never seen it, man. We're gonna have to put it on our schedule.
Yes, we will have to program Terrifier and Terrifier 2. They're wild films.
Jamie,
They're wild.
Jamie
I've
and
seen
I
the first
have a
one.
story about Terrifier, actually, even though I've never seen it.
Yeah, we do. We when we went to the convention, and
Yep,
we arrived early because we were trying to hit up Movie Crypt Live, and when we got there first, there was Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 panel, and we were just like, okay, and then we thought Movie Crypt Live was after that, but actually it was the gals from Terrifier. And we thought we were missing... We had no cell reception, so we couldn't check the schedule. So we thought we were in the wrong hall, so we had to, like, scooch out while they were talking and felt terrible about it. And then when we found out we were in the right hall, we snuck back in and just sat in the back, like, ugh. That place was packed, too. We were like, oh, no.
It's funny because Jamie, like, put a phone up to his ear, like, oh, I got a phone call, I got to get out of here.
I did. I pulled the old.
Which was not a bad thing to
What?
do. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, I'm good at
Emergencies
improvising
happen,
sometimes.
but
Yeah,
yeah.
so that'll
That
be
was,
interesting.
hilarious.
This next bit of horror news is the Welcome to Derry TV series has now been pushed back to 2025. As you know, this is going to
Really?
be
I just saw some stuff for that.
this is going to start to happen a lot because of both the writer's strike and the actor strike that's currently ongoing. So that's probably going to be a prevalent thing for a while. For things that haven't started shooting yet are probably going to be pushed back. But it said it was scheduled for Halloween 24, but it's likely going to be pushed back into 2025. They said so. The series will begin in the 1960s, in the time leading up to the events of It Chapter Part 1. So that's
Wow.
what do you guys think of that? I mean, does that bum you out that we had to wait a little longer? Is it one you were looking forward to?
Definitely. Yeah,
Yep.
that's one you don't want to wait that long for. You're like, that sounds awesome.
Yep. So,
I'm just gonna cancel all my plans now.
well, speaking of canceled plans, do you guys remember the Salem's Lot remake that was
Yeah.
in development, that was shot? You know, Gary Doberman's version. Well, now it's looking like it might be going straight to Max. Stephen King posted something the other day that was saying that it was currently shelved because it's been pulled off the schedule. It's not. It was originally on the schedule for September 9th, 2022, then pushed back to April 21st, 2023, and then it was just removed from the schedule. And we've heard nothing about it, but a spokesperson says no decision has been made about the film's future distribution plans, but the ongoing strike has created growing need for Max content. So it might be a casualty of the strike, or I mean, who knows? Hopefully we see it. Hopefully it doesn't get the Wonder Woman or the Batgirl treatment, and hopefully we see it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure we will, because it's completed. It's not like, you know, Batgirl was not finished shooting all the way, and it still had post-production to go. This thing's done. It's just sitting there. So Stephen King's seen it. He said it's very good. So we'll see. Does that kind of temper your guys' expectations for it?
I don't
You know, if he said that he liked it, I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt. So,
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
but he
you know-
also said he liked Pet Cemetery.
the
Yeah.
new one, he
Yeah.
did.
Yeah,
Ah, well, now that just shatters every dream I ever had.
I know. I don't know what to trust anymore.
Who do you trust these days?
Right?
So Daisy
Don't tell
Ridley.
anybody.
Rey Skywalker herself, is starring in a new horror thriller, an undead survival thriller called We Bury the Dead, from Zach Hilditch, who did the 1922 movie, that Stephen King adaptation. The film is a story where Ripley plays Ava, a desperate woman whose husband is missing in the aftermath of a catastrophic military experiment. Hoping to find him alive, Ava joins a body retrieval unit, but her search takes a chilling turn when the corpses she's burying start showing signs of life. That'd be interesting to see Daisy Ridley in a horror movie.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
It would.
And the story sounds good, I think.
Yeah.
What are
Yeah,
your
it
guys'
does.
thoughts?
Man, that title sounds so familiar. Maybe I've seen something about it recently,
Maybe.
but
It does
sounds
kind of
so
sound
Probably-
familiar. I thought the same
It's-
thing.
It's probably been a title before, I would imagine. I mean, it seems like something that would, you know, pretty common kind of phrase.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like a
Also,
Matata.
I never saw the 1922 movie either. Have you guys
Yeah,
seen that?
yes,
Mm.
it's with Thomas Jane. It's pretty good. Have to do it.
Is
So,
it?
Yeah. Yep. It's on Netflix. It's a Netflix
Nice.
original.
Mhm.
So apparently, guys, there is a Poltergeist TV series in early development from Amazon and MGM.
Mm.
What do you guys think of that? That's all we have, is that there is a Poltergeist TV series in the making. A, what do you guys think that would be? Would it follow the psychic character going to different houses each season and clearing different families? That would be an angle to take, probably.
Yeah.
What do you guys?
Be an angle.
What do you guys think?
Dang.
It's
I don't
it's
know.
interesting. I wish we had more information on it to like really give a judgment about it, but I see where it could work.
It's exciting to hear because
Yeah.
you're like,
It
ooh,
is.
I like that movie. You know.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, but we haven't even talked about Poltergeist. We haven't done it yet, and we definitely need to do it, which is
I can't believe we
surprising. We're in
haven't
our
done it
third season, and we haven't hit up Toby Hooper, Steven Spielberg's Poltergeist. That's wild. And then finally,
That
the
is
last bit of
wild.
news. The last bit of news, you guys, I talked about a little bit off mic, but we're going to talk about it here. It was announced that David Robert Mitchell is directing a sequel to It Follows called They Follow, starring Maika Monroe. What do you guys think about this?
Yes, I'm excited.
Hmm.
I was a big fan of the first one, so let's cross our fingers that the second one is good.
What do you think, Derek?
I don't know.
You're not
Did
sure?
you like the first
No.
one?
I don't think I saw the first one.
Yeah, we
It
did
Follows.
it on the podcast.
We did it on the podcast.
Oh, we did. Yeah, we did.
Derek probably remembers it in black and white, though.
Yeah.
Lydia, just when I was starting to like you.
You go and ruin it.
Yeah, no, man, oh no, I remember this because you sent us a text message about that, and I sent you a picture of a truck driver. Doot, doot. I told you that's the way out. Or a cat house.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
yeah.
right. Yeah,
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Just wipe your hands clean of it, and you're good.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's been a decade, pretty much, since that movie came out. Nearly, right? I mean, so
Almost.
almost. So yeah, maybe that's
crazy.
what she
It's
did.
been that long.
It was, when was that? 2016? Is that when It Follows came
I think
out?
so, yeah. I think so.
2014.
Yeah, we've had a
2014.
pandemic. We've had
So it'll be when the movie is released next year, or principal photography starts next year in 2024. So it'll be 10 years. So, do you guys think that it needs a sequel? Is a better question.
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, I don't think it needs
I
a
don't
sequel
either.
at all. I think it's really great as just a standalone film, but
Because you can
I'm
make,
interested.
yeah. I mean, if he has a story to tell, of course, I'm all about
Yeah,
filmmakers
yeah,
telling
exactly.
their stories. If he has a story to tell, then of course tell it, and I'll be interested to see it. I think that the movie works perfectly as a standalone if he didn't want to do a sequel, because it leaves us, our imagination is whatever. We don't, whatever happens afterwards is up to us. Did they defeat the entity? Maybe, in our opinion. Obviously,
Right,
they didn't,
yeah.
or they wouldn't be making a sequel. But
Yeah.
it's a risk. It's a risk when you make a sequel to such a kind of a hallmark movie from that era.
It's like if they made a Inception 2.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Yeah,
just
like-
leave Inception alone. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely could just be a standalone movie. And even if this one sucks, we'll still just consider the first one. Like,
I don't
just
see
leave
it.
this one alone.
I don't see it sucking. I think it could be disappointing.
I don't either. It could be disappointing, possibly, but it'll
Yeah.
still probably be okay.
It'll still be
At
fun.
least.
I don't think
I hope
gonna
it's
be,
like I hope it's
in the level.
mind-blowingly good is what I want it to be.
Well, of course, that's what we always hope for. But you know how sequels are.
Mm-hmm.
They're the best.
It's better than the first one. The rare sequel that's better.
It happens. It happens. Empire
rooting
Strikes
for it.
Back.
Except for that one.
T2.
Except for that one.
Those are some good ones. All right, and that wraps up the horror news. So, gang, compadres, amigos, compatriots, we had the pleasure of viewing 1986's Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. And have either of you guys seen this movie before?
Yes.
Okay, tell us your story, Lydia.
Okay, so I think I might have kind of told this a little bit before on other episodes, because the first time I watched this movie, I was pretty young, and my parents went out of town and left me and my stepbrother, who are around the same age. He's a little bit younger than me, but gotta brag a little bit about that. But we stayed up and watched Evil Dead and then this movie.
Excellent.
So we were completely terrified out of our minds. Like, it was like the most shocking. I thought I was a kid who like loved horror, but like I was watching very, a kid-friendly horror, I would say,
Yeah,
at that
you weren't watching
time,
the
until I
hardcore
saw
shit.
these.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it was on like IFC, like
Yeah. IFC
So it
used
was
to do
all-
it uncut. Yeah.
yeah. It was intense. Those two movies together as a kid, I highly recommend.
Derek, have you ever seen this before?
I wouldn't wish this rotten life on a one-eyed ferret with mage. No.
So that was just a quote from the movie, I'm guessing, that you just gave us.
It was. Yes, it
Yeah.
was.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've seen this movie tons of times. I think the first time I saw it was a VHS rental in the mid-90s. Because I always passed this VHS, and the original Chainsaw is, like, holy ground. And I remember I finally watched, because I had seen, the first Chainsaw I watched actually was the third one, Leatherface. Was the first Texas Chainsaw movie I watched. And then I watched the original, and then this guy. I rented it one day, and this is pre-internet, so I didn't know what to expect. And I watched it, and I was like, this is nothing like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. What is going on? And then I didn't see it for like a decade. Then in like the early, mid 2000s, I rented it, or no, I bought it on Blu-ray. I saw it. I was like, oh, I'll watch Chainsaw 2. And that's the first time I saw it in widescreen and in HD. And I was, and as an older, an adult, and I was like, this movie fucking slaps. So I went from saying this is wild to this slaps. This is actually slaps. So it's definitely an acquired taste, and it's kind of a bait and switch. So to give you a little backstory, Tobe Hooper was trying to develop a Texas Chainsaw Massacre sequel for quite a while. He kind of had some ideas. He was kind of developing stuff, and then the Cannon Group. You guys remember the Cannon Group from the 80s, correct? Derek, you remember the Cannon Group? They're the film production company that did all those Chuck Norris action movies and the Death Wish sequels. And they did
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, like the fucking what is it? Cyborg with Van Damme. So they were like this low budget horror studio. It's a low budget action studio in horror studio. And they signed a 3-picture deal with Tobe Hooper on the grounds that he make Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 the first of that 3-picture deal. And Tobe Hooper was going to get somebody else to direct it, but he couldn't find anybody. Everybody that they tried to go to, Canon couldn't afford. They weren't willing to pay him. So Tobe Hooper decided, okay, yeah, I'll direct it. He hired L.M. Kit Larson to write the screenplay. And because he told him the story, they bashed out the story. He wrote the screenplay, and he made a fucking black comedy. And Canon thought they were getting a straight up horror movie. This thing came out, and they're like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, I can
They should have
imagine.
known. They should have known, though. The cover of this movie is The Breakfast Club. The poster
Is
is
it
The
really?
Breakfast Club. Yeah, watch. Hang on. I'm going to pull it up for you guys.
The official one? It is. You're right.
Look.
What?
Yeah, Lydia.
It is, yeah.
There it is. See it? It's The Breakfast Club.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah.
What?
It was a parody. I mean, he knew what kind of movie he was making, and he marketed it as such. But the trailers and everything, this was a straightforward horror film, but it's not. So it is one of.
I mean, if you're going, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
If you're walking into this movie and you're expecting a horror, I mean, you get what you paid for. Like,
Well, it's a horror movie for sure.
It just, I
It's
like
the total
this better than I did
opposite.
the first one.
It's tonally, it's the total opposite of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You know, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is gritty and grimy and has this tension, and you feel disgusting. You know what I mean, while you're watching it, and filled with dread. This movie, you're like, this is fucking. I'm for it. You know, I'm having a blast.
I would say
let's do it.
I felt all of those things.
Well,
also.
yes. But you also get the layer of fun on top of it, you see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wild.
So this movie is wild. Let's start talking about it, because it opens with these fucking weirdos. These two assholes driving in a car shooting a fucking handgun around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of old boy's glasses that he's wearing, too, by the way?
Oh, man. Is that Ron Howard's brother?
It's not. It's not Clint Howard.
Are you sure? I know that
I
guy
am.
from somewhere, but
These two yahoos.
That's the craziest thing. Like, who does that?
Yeah, these
does
two,
it?
and
What
they're
do you-
just woo, woo, and they play chicken with the truck for no reason. It's of course, you know, the Sawyer's truck, and if they wouldn't have done that, they would have been fine. But they fucked around.
I guess.
And they found out.
Yeah. If you're in Texas, where like you have stretches of road where you won't see anybody for 60 miles, you know, maybe you are firing guns at road signs, but it's a little wild, a little much.
Yeah, well, when he decides to play chicken, he's just like, they're like, and they're honking at him, like, what the fuck are you doing? And he swerves off, and so they call Stretch. They call the radio station, and we're introduced to Stretch, who is our heroine, played by Caroline Williams. And guys, Stretch rules.
Yeah.
It's not a question. I'm
does.
telling you, Stretch rules.
Agreed.
What do you guys?
Lefty,
what do you guys
dude,
think
Lefty's
of Stretch?
something else. We'll get there.
Oh, Lefty is great too. Yeah. What do you guys think of Stretch as our final girl?
I love her. She's awesome.
Yeah, I was a fan. She did a great job too, but yeah, she did a great job as a DJ. She did a great job as a sleuth for some of this.
Yep.
So she's great.
She's like super down to earth, which I appreciate in a character like this. Although she does completely lose her shit in this movie.
Yeah, well, yeah, after the
I don't
shit she
blame her.
goes through, to be fair. Yeah, after the shit she
Yeah.
goes through.
Definitely.
Maybe you break that wall too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you cross over at that point.
I more of meant it as like a compliment. Like
Yes,
she completely loses her shit.
Yeah,
in
she
this
goes through
movie.
it. She does. So, what do you guys think of the first attack by the family? Because it has one of the best fucking practical effects ever.
Other than the fact you can't really drive a car backwards that fast, it totally plays.
Yeah,
it's
and that the
awesome.
bridge just goes on for miles.
It's a long, but God, does it not kick ass?
It
It
does.
really does kick ass. And I have to say, like, I don't think I've watched this movie, like, since I watched it when I was young.
Terrifying
And
night.
I remember it, dude. I remember all of it. I was like, this left an impression on me somehow. Like, this is crazy how well I remember this movie.
Dude, when he has like the Leatherface has like the basically the body in front of him is
Yeah.
when he shoots it and Leatherface's face pops up afterwards, it's a cool reveal.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's so cool. Oh, it's so
And then
cool.
when-
I loved it.
When he saws his fucking head in half, guys. The driver's
Oh,
head.
yeah.
That's
How
fucked up.
great is that effect?
Oh, that was fucked up.
It's
Gives
such
me
a
a
great
headache thinking
effect.
about it.
And the fact that he's like still reaching for his head, and then it slides
Yeah.
off, and he's still reaching for it, his blood splurting. I was like,
Guys,
This
I'm
is
not
the-
gonna lie. This movie made me completely nauseous.
there is a bit
Like-
later
Oh
that
my
I can
God.
understand. Yeah,
A lot of it. A lot of it. It's like, it's so many things going on because it's like, that's badass. This looks awesome. Now I'm about to throw up because this is freaking disgusting. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of emotions going on.
You know, one of those boys was so crazy he sawed his own head off going 90 miles an
Yeah.
hour.
Yeah.
That's a great line. I love that line. Actually, that's one of my favorites of the movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
What'd you think of this?
That whole
this
scene.
Derek?
It was pretty intense, but it was awesome. I love the play between the two cars and him getting the chainsaw out and cutting the top off, and the guy trying to fire the gun, and then when he saws his head off in half, Lydia, I get where you're coming from. It didn't make me nauseous, but I was like, it's a good effect.
Yeah.
Good effect. Looks good.
Yeah, yeah.
You
it
just
looks
don't
good.
see
It's
that
great.
very often.
You know.
No, it's
yeah.
a great bit. It's a great. You don't get that kind of behavior out of a major appliance. It's a Ghostbusters
No,
quote.
no.
But yeah,
And like the play between the radio station too, like that.
Yeah.
It's all like
Well-
connected that way is cool.
yeah, in that they can't hang up, which is weird, by the way. They just can't end the call. That seems like a fucking very bad design flaw. Because then somebody could get
Yeah.
on there and be like, "Suck my dick, bitch," and you're just like,
Yeah.
can't do anything.
Don't understand why they couldn't figure that out, but
It's all right.
I
It's
mean,
fine.
it was
It works.
the
It
early
works.
80s.
It
Yeah.
was the mid '80s. The mid '80s. It was the year I was brought into this earth.
And
Um,
what was his name? RJ? JR?
LG.
LG?
LG.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, like
What-
the TV. LG?
LG is
LG
interesting.
didn't look like he is
Mhm,
interesting,
yeah.
but he didn't look like he was very technical. I'm just throwing it
No,
out
but
there.
he's kind of a sweet guy. LG.
I don't know how to hang this phone up. I don't know how the kids do it these days.
Yeah, LG's kind of
Yeah.
a sweet guy. He's obviously sweet.
He is
on,
a sweet guy.
He's obviously sweet on Stretch.
Oh, for
And
sure.
she not at all, because have you fucking seen LG? Have you seen Stretch? So but yeah, this next bit we're introduced to our other protagonist of the film, which is Lefty, who is Franklin and Sally Hardesty's uncle. And he is a Texas Ranger, essentially. What do you guys think of Dennis Hopper as Lefty? Because I think he's fucking great.
He is freaking great, dude. What the hell?
I don't know.
I
Half
don't
this,
even have words. Like, what do you even say to that?
half this movie, I was just like, man, I don't understand how Dennis Hopper is trying to play this character, because some of it's just like, I don't know, man. It was interesting.
Yeah, I love it because
Just Dennis Hopper.
Meet him,
That's
Yeah.
all you can say.
I mean, when we first meet him, he's he's unhinged the entire time, essentially. And then
He is.
But he's also like he's coming from a good place. He's trying to stop these murders. And he's trying to find out, he's trying to get revenge on the people that, hurt his niece and kidnapped his, for all he knows, kidnapped. But he knows that, Sally said that Franklin died, but they never found his body. So he's trying to get revenge on these psychopaths. And he's basically been following this for a long time, following the trail of them, and he knows that they're here. So he plays it as that, and then later he plays like he's drunk in the hotel when Stretch comes out because they write a newspaper article about him, making fun of him. Stretch reads it, and she's like, "Hey, so I heard that entire murder. I have it on this tape. You want to listen to it?" And he's like, "Nah, no, you need to get out of my way. You're going to get hurt. I have to do this on my own." And she's like, "But I'm trying to help." Basically, she's wanting to become a legitimate reporter. And she's tired of doing just the rock and roll DJ life. So she goes and covers the big event that's happening in Texas at the time, which is the old chili cook-off. Who, Drayton Sawyer is the winner of the chili cook-off because it's all in the meats. What do you guys think of this fucking little subplot and that the cook returns?
It's so gross.
I liked it. It was the natural progression for his character to enter a food contest for best recipe.
Yeah, I mean that's his passion.
So gross.
Makes you not want to stop at a random chili dive in Texas.
Hell no. Hell no. No.
I love him. Jim
Excellent
Sadow.
Chili. What are you guys making? Oh yeah, he plays his character great.
He's so good as his character.
He is.
He's so scary.
Yeah, he's so
He
funny.
in a very unhinged way.
He's hilarious. Also, he's so funny.
Is. My favorite character in this movie is
Chop Top.
Man.
We'll get to Chop Top in this very next scene.
But I think he's probably my second.
After Lefty introduces, comes back to Stretch and says, play the tape on the air. And he's basically setting up a sting. He's like, if they, he's like, if they play the tape, they'll come for her and then I can get him. That's what his goal is. He doesn't tell her that. But that's the plan. That's the plan.
Terrible plan.
I mean, it's a good plan if you're him. It's a bad plan if you're her.
Yeah, and it's not a terrible plan if he would have just fucking intervened quicker, I guess.
Yeah, if he would have just been there, maybe.
Yeah. Well, he had to track him. He had to track him to the house. He needed to know where their headquarters were because he needed to find all of them. I think is why he waited. But guys, the radio station scene is fucking awesome.
Yeah,
it is.
When we're introduced to Chop Top, what do you guys think of Bill Moseley as Chop Top? He's
unforgettable.
He's wild.
Yeah.
He's like just scratching his head with the freaking.
Well, he's not only doing that, dude. He's like lighting the coat hanger on fire, and then he's like.
That stuck with me forever.
It's so weird.
I remember seeing that. My little baby brain was just like, what is he doing with that coat hanger?
And man, he's going to town on it. And it's so, dude, the scene where he's just talking to Stretch is so creepy because you just feel the anxiety of like, how would you fucking deal with this? You know what I mean? And she's, there's, and he's like raving about random shit, his favorite bands and stuff. And then the best bit is when she goes, good night. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. And then, good night. Oh, good night. And you're like, oh my God.
He goes, good night.
Yeah. Good night.
Oh.
Dude, the jump scare with Leatherface is great too, by the way.
Dude, this has been killing me. I want to talk about this jump scare because it got me.
Yeah, it's an all-time great.
I remember this movie so well, but I forgot that was coming. So I jumped out of my skin. Like Jake was like asleep, and I was like, "Oh my god, it was so good!
It's
I
a great
loved
jump
it."
scare. Did you did it get you, Derek?
No, you knew I could. It was telegraphed, but it was still very good. I
Yeah.
enjoyed every minute of it.
Yeah, I like it a
And
lot. I knew it was coming, so I was just counting down, waiting for it because it's so good. Because not
Yeah.
only does he pop out, but he chainsaws Chop Top's head and hits his plate and
Yeah.
sparks fly.
Ugh.
Dude,
And you're like,
in all honesty, I think their extended banter, which you could perceive as just like going on too long, I think played into that so well
It's the-
because it made
yeah.
that jump scare like
builds the
even
tension.
better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it just keeps building the tension. Yeah, I think
Not
it's
to mention
great.
it just added to his creepy ass self.
Yeah, and some memorable lines. And I love when he's like, "Damn it, Leather! You ruined my Sonny Bono wig! You're buying me a new one!" And so Leatherface chases Stretch upstairs, and then LG comes in. And before LG comes in, we get this he gets bludgeoned to death with a hammer, first of all. We got not to death, but when he's getting beat with this hammer, it's brutal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's brutal. Like,
Yeah.
it's just slam.
Oh, I have a question for you, Jamie.
Yeah,
Did Sarah watch this movie with you?
she did not.
Hell
We're
no.
like, "Hey,
I was
you might
like,
wanna
there's
set
no
this one out."
way.
Yeah, she had Connor in the other room because she goes, "Are you going to watch the movie?" Because I watched it last night, and I was debating on either watching it last night or this morning, and because I needed to edit this week's episode on the opposite, whichever one, and I was like, I think I'll watch it. And earlier in the evening, she was like, "Are you going to watch the movie?" I was like, I'm holding Connor. I was like, "Well, no, not until we put him down." And she's like, "Why? You watch horror movies with him all the time." I was like, "This is different, babe. It's loud
This is
and
way
it's
different.
crazy." I was
It's
like,
so gory.
I'd rather him be somewhere else for this one.
Yes, good
no,
call.
she did not
Good
watch it with me.
parenting decision.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree.
So he, so the brutality of LG getting bludgeoned with this hammer is like just in stark contrast to the madness that's going, the comedy that's going on at the same time. And then Leatherface gets another jump scare when he busts through the fucking wall for
Yeah.
Stretch,
Yeah.
which is a really good one as well.
Mm-hmm.
And we get that fucking iconic, creepy, weird scene where he's like basically molesting her with the chainsaw.
Yeah.
I mean,
I didn't remember that part. Unblock that part out.
I don't see anything
There's a
wrong with
reason
it.
for that. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like,
No,
oh.
I remember watching it as a young man and feeling certain things and like, huh.
Yeah.
I really like Stretch's legs.
It's such
Oh
a
my
fucked
God.
up thing. Oh, this
It's
whole
so
movie is
fucked
so
up.
fucked up.
Because he's like
I
basically
do like
his-
how he. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I do like how he's toying with her, right? He's like in that bucket full of ice and beer, and he's
Mhm.
like, we're like really trying to get the scare up, and then he like she tries to talk to him and rationalize with him to a certain degree in a very like
Yeah.
dumbed down way.
Well, then
and
he starts
thanks
to,
her.
he starts to feel empathy for her, and then he's attracted to her as well. So he
I mean-
decides he doesn't want to kill her, essentially.
Yep.
So he instead just leaves her up there and
There's a-
pretends that he killed her.
How crazy is that?
It's so crazy, but he leaves her, and he's doing the old did you get her, Leonard? Did you get her?
He's like,
Bitch.
Dude, there's a scene later on. He's like, yeah, well, Leatherface killed her once already, but look, she's red faced. Oh, Bubba's been playing with her.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. So the best part about that is like whenever he's like his eye movement, man.
Yeah,
I don't know if
very
you
funny.
watched it. He's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I've been busted.
It's
So-
freaky. His
so
eyes
dude-
are so big.
This is so they leave. They take
Yeah.
LG's body. He's not dead yet, we find out, but takes him. That's a good slab of meat. And they're like going to take him to cook. And she follows them in a truck, and they are fucking clueless that she's following him. And she's right fucking behind him. But she follows them, and then she starts getting chased by another car, which is, I don't know why, Lefty just didn't be like, hey, it's me, early, but
Right.
he gets out, and he tells her, hey, girl, it's me. And she falls down this trap, basically this hole. And he tries to save her with the fucking skeleton hand that breaks off, which is fucking hilarious, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And she falls into hell, essentially. She is in hell. The rest of this movie takes place in hell. But we skipped over a part that is very important that we got to talk about real fast, is when Lefty goes to the chainsaw store.
Oh my god.
Dude. The
This is
best.
fantastic.
The best. I loved it.
Yeah. What do you guys think of this? I mean, he goes in, he gets the chainsaws, and then old boy's like, because he just
He's
lays
blowing
down the
that
money.
shopkeeper's mind.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
like getting the little chainsaws, and he's like going like this, and that guy's like, what are you doing, boy?
I love it.
And then when he goes
Dude, and
outside,
then
he's just like, ah!
And the shoplifter's getting off
And
on it. He's like,
notice
oh,
he went
yeah.
nuts. Yeah, he's gonna go cut some wood.
So fucked up.
Yeah, such a weird scene. So hilarious and just an awkward little weird scene. So he has
I love
3
it,
chainsaws.
though. It's the
It's
best.
perfect. So he has 3 chainsaws. And he follows her in there and he starts fucking just ripping the place apart.
Yeah. Well, he's settled.
scene-
He's made up his mind, and he's settled his affairs, and he goes in there not expecting to come out, and he's gonna take the whole damn place down with him.
Taking it all down with him.
Was his thought.
And so,
Yep.
Lydia, the scene where Stretch runs into Leatherface again, and she watches him skin LG.
Well, she
And
doesn't
then
know
he
that
puts-
it's him yet.
Then he puts his LG's face on her face. What do you guys? Well, I know you were talking about this. Is this one of them that made you nauseous?
Definitely. I was trying to eat. I was eating food. I was like, I am
Lydia!
so sick to my stomach right now.
That was the
I saw
first mistake.
that big piece of like flesh off of his leg, and I was like, maybe I shouldn't be eating right now.
Yeah. When he
It's
puts
so gross.
when he puts LG's face on her, and it's wet, she's like, it's wet, and he puts it on and squishes on, and he's like putting it up on her and stuff, and the hair's still there, and puts the cowboy hat. That's fucking so gross. What do you think, Derek?
Yeah.
No, it it definitely is. I don't know, man. I would have went nuts too. I'd have broke the 5th wall. Been like, gotta be in a
And
movie.
then
This
he
is horrifying.
Yeah.
then he dances her around the place.
Yep. Dances with
Then
her.
hides her so she doesn't get seen and ties her up. And then LG becomes conscious without a fucking face, with big portions of his skin ripped off.
Yep.
And when he's trying to cut her with the knife, and he's not working because he's
He
fucking
might
all
stab
fucked
her.
up. Yeah, it's just like,
Yeah.
oh my god, this is so dark but hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like,
poor
did I
LG.
cut her? Like, what the hell?
I don't know if people were ready for this movie when it came out.
No, it's fucking a different level.
It's so wild. I can't even imagine.
So
This is like Terrifier level.
it is. So
there is a moment when LG saves her, and
Mm-hmm.
he like falls down and he's about to die, and she says, "LG, I loved you. Or, I
Yeah.
love you." Like,
Yeah, she said I loved you.
Yeah.
which I was like, yeah, like, but like, in what way do you mean? But
Yeah.
like, yeah, you know,
As a
I'm
friend.
assuming she meant like, yeah,
yeah,
you know, I had love for you.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
kind of how I
yeah.
took it too. I don't think she was like in love with him in that
No,
way.
no, she wasn't in love
No.
with LG,
But, like-
but she loved him. Yeah, he was a good
Yeah.
friend of hers.
Yeah,
And yeah, it's sad when he dies for her, especially, and even more so for LG. But
yeah, man, that was
We
so
get another
nasty.
we get
It went
so-
on for so long too.
That's
I
the
just
thing.
have to
The
say,
length
went
of
on
it
for
is what
so
makes it
long.
so creepy. It's
It
not like a
does.
2-second scene. It like just goes.
Yeah, and you are just stuck there with it. Like,
Yeah,
seeing
you're
him
in
like
hell
that.
as well. You're in hell. So
Ugh.
So Lefty finds Franklin's body. He finds Franklin's body and
He does,
decides to.
That was cool.
That's when he loses his shit completely, and he's like, "Tear it all down!" and starts just fucking chopping everything. And Stretch sees him, but doesn't see that it's him. Sees the chainsaw, thinks it's,
Oh boy.
Dude, the best part is when it's so tense when she's trying to hide from them all. But when she runs from the one tunnel to the other tunnel, and the cook's like, "Did you see it?" It's so funny.
That was really funny. Like, it
One
was
of
like
those
they
big
saw,
varmints.
yeah, like he saw a mouse run across the floor.
Yeah.
Did you see that? Like, I think I just saw something.
And Leatherface is like, "Yeah, no, I saw it. No, I didn't see it." Like he doesn't know what to.
Did you see it?
And
I love that too.
Uh-huh.
And then he so he ends up catching up to her. And she's like, okay. He pops up with the chainsaw and she's just like, "All right, just stop already. Stop the fucking madness. I'm trying to talk to you." And then of course the other two show up, and that's when we get that dialogue, Derek, that you were talking about. Because he says, women, sex is good, but the saw is family, which is a very iconic line.
Yeah.
And so they knock her out because they're gonna, feed her to Grandpa.
Yeah.
Get another dinner scene.
He's now 136
37.
like that.
37.
37.
137. What do you
His
guys
liquid
think?
diet.
What do you think of this dinner scene, Lydia?
It's freaky. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it because it works somehow.
Yeah.
I'll say that it works and it's scary and it's whatever, but like it is crazy also because this dinner table setup, the lighting everywhere is everything's so weird and strange.
Yeah,
I'm just like,
cartoonish. Yeah.
what the hell? Yeah, it kind of is. It's so strange. And
Yeah.
it like we said, it just goes on and on of her just in the chair like screaming.
Yeah, that's what I'm
But,
saying.
like,
It's just that
so
level of
long.
it. It's just what it is, the intensity of it. What do you think of the
Mhm.
dinner scene, Derek?
It's the whole bunch of craziness, especially when they get her to the giant bucket, and Grandpa's
Grandpa
like
comes
doing
out,
everything he can. Yeah, after they bring him out, and man, he looks like he should be dead, and he's just dropping the hammer, and he's like, "Yeah, Grandpa, he's a one hit.
He's a one hitter.
whatever. He's a one hitter," and then he tries real hard, man. He's giving it his all. And then he finally
And
hits
so-
her once, and it's weak.
Yeah, so then the cook just bashes her on the head so brutally, bam, and they start immediately like slurping up because Leatherface can't bring himself to kill her,
Yeah.
and he won't finish her off, so they take her to the table. The dinner scene is disturbing. It's very funny too because he's just ranting and raving about some fucking random shit, and she's like, "I don't care" to him essentially when he's like fucking talking to her. And he's like, "Oh, it'll be all right, dear. Grandpa's the best. He's a one hitter. His strict liquid diet."
He does give
So
a
before they
backstory
can-
about Grandpa. and
Yeah, that's
working
what
at a
he's
factory and the automation and
Mm-hmm.
Yep, going
she's
on and
like,
on
yeah,
about
that's
it.
great.
Yeah, I don't give a shit.
Let me
Just
go.
let me go. And then Lefty comes in, and we get a bonkers fucking. This whole ending's bonkers. So first off, the cook tries to bribe him because he thinks he's with the FDA, or he also
Yep.
thinks he's like with the rival chili maker. So he's trying to bribe him with money, and then Lefty's just kind of biding his time, and then he sees Stretch, and he's like, girl, hang on, sister, and then he attacks, and he freaking chainsaws the cook's butthole. After he says he's always fucked in the ass, chainsaws his butthole. Stretch runs, and then he and Leatherface have a chainsaw fight. A chainsaw fight on top of a table. And he impales Leatherface in the gut with a chainsaw. And then the cook gets his ass sawed a second time before he frags them all. What is going on?
Dude, Grandpa in this scene is awesome because he's like struggling to get the hammer, and you're thinking maybe he might hit Lefty, but then he just like, it is just chaos, man. It's chaos.
Yeah.
What do you think, Lydia?
It's almost like the writer had it was like babysitting like his nephew or something that day. It's like, well, what if they like fought with the chainsaws and then it exploded?
Yeah, that sounds fucking badass.
That sounds pretty good.
That had to be in the pitch meeting. He's like, yeah, this is the first movie that we're gonna do, and this is the scene I got.
Yeah, dude, it's so fun. It is a lot of fun. The sparks flying from the chainsaws, and then the fact that, Drayton Sawyer, the cook's down there, like talking to himself, like, they got me. Oh, he touches his butt and he's bleeding everywhere. Got me good on this one. They got me good this time. Oh, that looks pretty bad. And then he pulls the grenade and he's just like, that's right, we're gonna do this one the right way. And so you never actually see them explode. We don't see their deaths.
Right.
So there's the explosion.
I don't know how he had a chainsaw all the way through him and was still.
So he's dead for sure in this continuity. Texas Chainsaw 3 kind of ignores the events of 2. Because he's 100% dead. There's no way he could survive getting a chainsaw all the way through his fucking gut and his body.
He wouldn't be standing, let alone continuously fighting.
Yeah, no, it was like his guts were literally hanging out. He killed them all. Toby Hooper just killed them all.
He had a giant hole in his torso.
Yeah. So we get the chase with Chop Top and Stretch. What do you guys think of this?
That's good.
It's a fun cat and mouse. And, she's climbing to the top of the mountain trying to get out of hell.
Yeah.
Only to find the queen.
Yeah.
Grandma.
Mummified.
Who looks disgusting, but,
is holding a chainsaw.
Mm-hmm.
And she was alive. Was she alive?
She was dead. She was dead. He thinks she's alive because he's crazy.
Well, it did look like she moved. I was torn a little bit because I was like, yeah, she's definitely a corpse. But then it looked like she moved a little bit.
I think she was supposed to be dead. Maybe the way it was shot, but he says she killed it because there's no way she was definitely dead. She was like a fucking full on like.
Well, that's the thing.
Corpse.
That guy was 137. There was another corpse over there that had like blood tube going into. I think they're just like able to keep them alive forever or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Either way, I'm pretty sure she was dead already because she just rips off the chainsaw and her arms break off.
Yeah,
and then Chop Top is like, "You killed her, Grandma!" She's trying to start this chainsaw, and dude, when he goes up and he's just slashing her back, it's so fucked up.
Yeah, I was like, turn around and hit him with the chainsaw
Yeah.
that you're holding.
So she eventually gets it started and impales him with it, and then uppercuts him basically off of the thing with the chainsaw, and he falls to his death. And then she does the Leatherface dance, and we end.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she's lost the reservation.
Yeah.
She's off of it.
What do you guys think of this ending?
I could have done without the dance, but
It's iconic. That's
other
what
than that,
yeah.
I mean, well, like the thing about the dance for me is like in the first one when he's swinging that thing around, it is just special.
Yeah.
And in this one, I didn't feel the same. I was like, this is ridiculous. Like it was the comedy that was,
Yeah.
there was a comedy about it. Where the first one was just different. It was just scary.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's a good bookend if you have the first two movies as just that's the continuity. I think it's a good bookend.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what do you guys think about the whole ending?
Well, I got something I want to say.
Uh-huh.
Because this reminded me of a Gwen Stefani song. This shit is bananas.
Oh. Oh my god.
Anyway, you know what? That sounded better in my head. But
yeah. Sure it did.
We can move on.
Yeah, so that is Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Now, guys, there's actually a bunch of scenes that were deleted from this thing that I don't know if have ever been released, really. But there's a whole sequence. We see parts of them, but there's a whole scene cut from the movie that, for pacing issues, that involved the Sawyer clan heading out for the night to collect their prime meat for the chili. And they slaughter patrons that are exiting a movie theater. And we get a bunch of a group of rowdy rioting fans in a parking garage, and we get a bunch of practical effects by Tom Savini of all these deaths. Joe Bob is there, and he's murdered.
Really?
This all of this got cut for time, in pacing. Which sucks because I want to see that. That sounds fucking awesome.
Dang.
Sounds like it'd be a lot of fun.
Interesting.
Yeah, it would have upped the body count, This movie would have been even gorier. So, guys, what do you think of Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2? Who wants to start?
I can go.
All right, go ahead.
All right, so I knew going into the first movie, I had to be in the right mood. And I actually think that I wasn't in the right mood when I watched it, and I judged it based on that. And it's an acquired taste. This movie is different, right? I don't know that I've ever seen this movie. If I have seen this movie, I was real young, probably too young to watch it. I haven't seen this movie in at least 30 years. But it definitely caught me off guard. And I liked it, actually. It was a lot of fun. There was the comedic beats in this movie really played well with the mixture of horror. And I liked it. One thing that did shock me, so I looked up the numbers. The first movie did $30 million on a $140,000 budget. That's crazy.
Astronomical.
I'm a little shocked that this movie was made for about $4.7 million. And worldwide, it only grossed a little over 8.
Yeah, it was not a hit when it came out. People were expecting something completely different.
Yeah.
And it got a much bigger appraisal over the years. Now it's a cult classic.
Yeah, I could see that. Anyway, so my rating. Almost forgot that again.
He always does.
I'm going to give this movie a 6, but it was a really fun 6. I would probably watch this movie again if I was in the right mood. But yeah, I would recommend it. I thought it was a good movie.
What do you think, Lydia?
A 6. Man, I don't know. Guys, this movie is scary. Like, I think this movie is up there with scare.
It just gets
Um,
you, huh?
You do you.
It really
What you
does
got?
get me. I think like the average, like, the average moviegoer would not know what to do with this movie. Like, I think
I
it would
agree
be
with
like,
you there.
yeah, like I think certain people especially would be just scared out of their minds if they saw some of this stuff. I mean, the skinless guy, like
Yeah, yeah.
it's a lot. It's a lot.
It is a lot.
And I think the first one's really scary.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Man, but this one just affects me. So I think I gotta give it higher.
Y'all give it way higher. Give it what you think. I'm gonna give it higher than Derek. I can tell you that.
Yeah. It's so weird. This movie is so weird. Okay, I'm gonna give it a 9.
Oh wow, you really liked it.
Is that too high?
No,
No,
that's what you.
it's what
That's
you
how
think.
you feel. I
It's not even that I liked it. It's not even that I like really liked it. I'm just like, I think this movie is like super
It
underrated
really
as,
scared
like,
you.
an actual scary movie.
Yeah, I like this movie a lot, and I think it's a lot of fun too. And you're right, in certain circumstances, it is scary. Like, I think when I was thinking about watching this, I was like, man, I remember watching it one day after I bought it on Blu-ray, and I was like, there's just certain things that like made me feel, ugh, like like when she's putting the face on and all that stuff. You're like, oh, that's disturbing. But all in all, I think it's really funny. I think it's a really funny horror movie. I think a lot of the comedy works. I think a lot of the comedy is like very. There's some comedy in the first movie too that people didn't pick up on, but this one, Toby Hooper's like, "Hey, this movie's supposed to be funny, so I'm going to tell you how funny it is, but I'm also going to do some stuff that's going to scare the shit out of you, like the jump scare, and
Yeah.
like and do some really disturbing shit, like make Stretch wear this dude's fucking face." So I really like this movie. I think it's one of the I think it's the best of the original continuity sequels, for sure, without a doubt. And I think it's better than the recent Netflix one as well, by a large margin. I think the only one that can compete with this movie is the remake, which we'll get to eventually. The Marcus Nispel remake with Jessica Biel, but I think this is the strongest of all of the Chainsaw sequels. I'm going to give it an 8. I really like it. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it has its own fucking weird little, like, its own little weird tone that I just really like.
It does.
It's kind of Evil Dead 2-ish, but not at the level of Evil Dead 2. As far as the pure fun and filmmaking ability. I mean, Evil Dead 2 is, of course, up here in the pantheon of horror. But it's a lot of fun. It's very splat sticky. There's some good stuff. It's gonzo gore. I mean, as a horror fan, what else do you want, right?
Mm-hmm.
The plot's kind of just all over the place, but it's a pretty simple story. Lefty's tracking them down. He finds them. Stretch has to survive. The end.
Yeah, I think it's tied together well, and it's also edited pretty well.
Yeah.
I think like there were like just a few moments that I was like a little nitpicky with, but like not even memorable enough to like comment on them.
Yeah,
So, like maybe like some of the music like changes are strange, but
there is
besides
actually
that,
a piece of music that I like a lot that's reminiscent of Psycho. There's like a Psycho-esque
Yeah.
bit that I like a lot. Toby Hooper did the music on this. He did the
Yeah.
music with somebody else. I saw that in the opening credits. Let's see who he did it with.
like when that music is playing and
Jerry
she's
Lambert.
driving, and you're just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, it's good stuff.
pretty
So that-
obvious reference
yes,
right there.
Yes. So that is Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I was hoping you would. So who would Tom Atkins play in this movie? He'd be a pretty goddamn good lefty, wouldn't he?
I think it would.
Yeah.
Would have been a good lefty for sure.
Yeah.
I love Dennis Hopper a lot, but I mean, Tom Atkins as lefty would probably push this guy to a 10.
Yeah. Dennis Hopper.
Yeah, he's great. Phenomenal. Yeah.
Just something else.
Great actor. Just in general, he's a great actor. He was a
actor.
great one. But yeah, he's just nuts in this thing.
The first time it shows him too, I laughed.
You're like, it's
Him
Dennis
just in
Hopper.
his yeah,
Little cowboy get up.
it's just funny.
I thought you were gonna say you laughed because you pictured him trying to order a pizza for the fucking Mario Brothers. I don't know
Nope,
why
just him
that's a
standing
running
there.
joke in that movie, but whatever. That movie's fucking terrible. Good thing we don't have to do it.
Yeah, I've never seen that.
I mean, it's a horrible movie, but it's not a horror movie.
Yeah, that's true. Whose turn is it to pick? It's yours, Lydia.
Yep, it's mine.
What are we watching
And
next week?
I think we're gonna go ahead and do Poltergeist.
Oh, nice. We were just talking about it. We're
Yep.
going 2 in a row for Toby Hooper. Nice.
Yep.
This is a Toby Hooper season because this will be the third
We
Toby
have
Hooper
done-
movie we've done.
Yeah.
Or fourth. Was Texas Chainsaw last season or was that this season?
Oh.
But we've done The Mangler. We've done this one.
Yep.
And we're about to do Poltergeist.
So Texas Chainsaw Massacre was last year.
Okay, so
Oh.
we're doing 3 Hoopers this year. Nice. Cool. I like it.
Hooping it up.
Hooping it up.
He always
This
surprises
is Green
me.
Bloody Hooper. What?
Oh.
What'd you say?
Said he always surprises me.
He does. Oh, actually, this is the 4th Toby Hooper. We've done 4 because we also did Salem's Lot.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's right. Every time his name comes up, I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, yep. So
was
this is the
Toby
4th
Hooper?
Hooper we've done. Nice. This will be the 4th one. Cool. Poltergeist. I think it's streaming on Max. It's on some other places too, probably.
I think I might have this one.
You should. It's a great one. Poltergeist is streaming on Max, on Sling TV, Amazon Prime, Hulu, and you can also get it on Apple TV and Vudu. So definitely watch the Steven Spielberg produced and written and Toby Hooper directed Poltergeist. You know what is funny? I was talking to Sarah the other day. We drove into town. Did you get your shirt, by the way, Lydia?
Yes, I got it.
Yeah.
I was gonna wear it tonight, but I had a rough day.
So we went into town and we drove by the Knights Inn, Derek. And because I said something, I was like, Sarah, if you ever have to stay in a hotel in Peru for whatever reason, just stay at the Best Western. That's the best one. I was like, don't stay at that weird little motel. And I was like, the Knights Inn, it is what it is. And I,
Is that the one with me, you, and Joey?
yes.
That out of context, that sounds strange.
Yes.
So, I was having a rough go in college. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and I was home for a weekend, and I was selling vacuums. I mean, to be fair, the vacuum was really amazing, and if I had the $2,000 they were charging for that thing, I would have loved to have bought one, but I didn't have that.
Was it a rainbow?
No, it was a. Gosh, now I forget what it was. It wasn't a Kirby. Either way, it was a pretty cool thing. It was.
Tell them about Joey's, you testing it on Joey before we go into the rest of it.
Oh yeah, so I was practicing and I took it over to Joey's house, and Joey got his like fucking $15 Dollar
The ones
General
with
vacuum out,
the
and he's
ones
like,
with the bags on them still.
yeah, and he's like vacuuming in his spot, and he's like, vacuum that spot, I guarantee nothing comes up. I vacuumed that spot and got a whole bunch of shit up. And Joey goes, God damn it, and he kicked his
Piece of shit.
his vacuum. No, this thing was really impressive. Like, one of the demonstrations was they gave you like a fucking bag of sand, and they're like, "Yep, this thing will suck that sand right up," and it did. And so this weekend, I had come home and I demonstrated it for Joey, and then I also demonstrated it for this girl who my mom worked with. She was like, "Oh yeah, I knew her. I used to work with her. Derek can come over to my house and he can." Demonstrate this. Well, her husband was there, and when I did the sand trick, he was like, "Oh, we just got a brand new vacuum. I wonder if mine will do that." And I'm pretty sure he destroyed his vacuum.
Oh no.
But anyway, what Jamie was talking about was I had rented I think maybe we all went on this. We got a hotel room at the Night's End.
Yeah, so for
And
context, we were all still living with our parents.
yeah,
And so we wanted to like basically just have a night of drinking, right, Derek?
yep. And so it was me, you, Joey. There were 2 beds. We ordered pizza and we drank beer and we just like, talked really the whole night. And then it came time for sleeping arrangements, and Jamie and I were like, "Yeah, man, we'll share a bed," because Joey's weird like that. And dude, weren't we like lighting it up?
Oh yeah.
we were destroying it.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
What I was
Joey,
what I remembered is
good.
we were talking about it, and I remember Joey just like making fun of you endlessly because you were talking about this girl that you had a crush on at Pizza Quick,
Oh,
Hannah, and you were talking about
yeah.
it, and Joey's like, Hannah, and I was like, just what a dick. Just like Derek's like pouring his heart out. He's drinking his beer. He's like, I really have a crush on this girl, guys. I wonder what I should say. And Joey's like, won't you tell her the body's a vessel for the soul?
How we've made it through this friendship, I don't know. It's a mystery.
Oh, classic. Yeah, Joey would always give Derek like he would always just destroy poor Derek. It was great. There was a period of time when we were after Derek had a relationship end that he fell heavily into the ways of the alcohol, let's just say. For like a little brief period, he would have like his depression. It was like this slight depression that he would have. And one night, I was watching house sitting for my friend, and Derek was over, and he got annihilated. And I had my coworker come over, and she brought her Wii, and we were playing Wii. Derek ordered buffalo wings from the Domino's, and he ate all of them by himself. And then he said, "Oh man, I should have seen if you guys wanted any buffalo wings." After he destroyed them all.
I was pretty drunk.
He was real drunk. And so after she left, and it's Derek and I still, we decided to watch The Exorcist. I don't know if you remember this because you were really drunk. And so we decided to watch The Exorcist at like fucking 11 o'clock at night. And that face pops up and scares the fuck out of you. I don't know if you were like, "Oh, did you see that face?" I was like, "Yeah, buddy."
I may remember that, yeah.
I was like, maybe we shouldn't watch this one because his house was also fucking incredibly haunted, and I'm stuck with drunk Derek, who was sleeping on. I was sleeping on the couch, and he was sleeping on an air mattress on the ground, and all of the air went out of this mattress, and he's literally just laying. He's just laying on a flat piece of rubber. It's like half blown up. He was annihilated that time. That was a good time, Derek.
It's pretty fun.
And that wraps up this edition of Screen Bloody Movies. We have a lot of exciting stuff coming up on the movie. The script is finished. We are casting. We are going to be rolling in the springtime for the opening scene so we can raise money for the full-length feature. The script's ready to go, guys, right? It's ready to rock and roll?
Yep.
And so we'll have some more updates for you as soon as they become available. In the meantime, you can follow us for updates on Facebook at HiLa Productions. You can follow us at HiLaProductions.com. You can follow us on Instagram at Screen Bloody Movies. You can follow us each on Twitter at DDoglyMaster and Lydia is Spooky. You can follow me at Racket. Be sure to comment your thoughts on this crazy-ass movie. This experience. This movie is an experience. How did you survive your experience? Tell us your favorite quote. And then also tell us about all of the, what are they, dick dogs, Derek?
I think so.
Yep, you tell
I
us about
navigated
all
away
the...
from the page, but there were a lot of...
You tell us about all of your favorite dick dogs that appear in this movie. Comment down below on new movies you want us to do, and we will do them. In the meantime, until we meet again, for Derek Lemaster and Lydia Judy, I'm Jamie Hiles. Remember, if you're going to scream, scream bloody movies.